So this is an older video from like a decade ago, but it's still valid. Let's just get right into it. I'm going to be adding a few more topics on top of this, kind of relating to it, but let's get to it.
This is the shuttle's fuel tank. It may only be 130 miles to space, but to cover that distance, the engines will use 500,000 gallons of fuel, and that works out at 2 feet to the gallon. Despite the cost, however, NASA does need to test these engines once in a while. So they built this place in the wetlands of Mississippi. The first thing they installed was a huge loudspeaker, through which they played white noise to simulate the sound of a rocket. They then sent a number of trucks in different directions out into the wilderness, and the drivers were ordered to stop when the noise levels became acceptable. This gave them an imaginary boundary line, and anyone living on the inside of it was offered a simple choice. Stay, and you'll never hear another television program as long as you live. Or take the NASA shilling and get out.
Yeah, why would they have that big speaker looking thing in the first place if it was a testing ground for rockets? So I do think he was being correct when he said that they played that, had drivers go out, and anyone in that range was told to leave. That kind of makes sense, because why would you need that there for any other fucking purpose? Like, and that wouldn't be like a warning for like them announcing that they're testing a rocket, because that's not what's typically used. So it's kind of strange, and it's obvious that they're hiding something if they told people to get out or like not watch the news. Like it kind of just adds up.
No one stayed, and NASA ended up with exactly what it wanted. 125,000 acres of nothing. They even had to move 5 cemeteries, because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead.
Alright, before I continue into the video, they removed 5 cemeteries? Where's the bodies? Does this play into the McDonald's conspiracy theory with people being in the meat, you know? What'd you do with the cemeteries? You're telling me they can just do that? Bet you nobody said anything to the families. I don't know if he was just being sarcastic, but if like they actually did that, that's pretty messed up. Anyway, let's continue.
Dead. Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapor.
That's a little strange. That got fired up, and you saw the amount of, like, smoke or whatever that was coming out of that. It also didn't really look like smoke. Looked awful cloudish. And now there's a big cloud right there. In basically the same spot that came up. That doesn't look like rocket smoke to me. and it's sitting there. Now you got to think about how they're trying to control the weather, trying to play God. Was this basically the start of it? Of course, it was probably different things that they were doing before this, but you got to think about the cloud seeding, where you see those planes go through the air and it leaves a line across the sky that spreads out, and hours later it's still there. And you see how it kind of blocks the sun a little bit? Yeah, that's messed up. And you could say, oh, you could disagree with it all you want. Say there's a reason that it does that. No. Pilots have even said, not even anyone who works around airplanes, say, they're like, that doesn't happen. You remember fucking decades ago, well, maybe a decade ago, a few years ago even, you see a plane go by and the smoke's, like, it'll leave a trail, but it will start slowly evaporating, not staying there and expanding, covering the sky. And about a month, maybe 2 months ago, the UK got approved for a $66 million project to dim the sun. Is it still a conspiracy theory? Nope. Because they're telling us straight to our faces now. They're already trying to dim the sun. And now the UK got approved to do it. And people still try to go against it and deny. That's a conspiracy theory. They're telling us right to our faces. How can you deny that? They're playing God. We need sun for life. Why are we trying to dim it? The earth isn't heating up. You can say global warming all you want. These are the kind of summers we've had for decades. We don't need to dim the sun. And the chemicals that they use to try to do that, that has effects on us. They found higher levels of metal than usual in water, in the soil. It's not good. You have too much metals in your body, that causes health issues. That's about sums up what I gotta say about that. I could probably go on a little bit more, but it's just insanity. Anyway, peace out.